In April, President Uhuru Kenyatta announced that 100 million shillings had been set aside to cushion artists raising questions on how exactly this is going to be distributed. Now, as promised, we're now joined by Cabinet Secretary for Sports, Culture and Heritage, Ambassador Amina Mohammed. Thank you very much for making time to join us, Ambassador. All right, we will be having Ambassador Amina Mohammed shortly on that 100 million shillings stimulus that was set aside to cushion artists raising questions by various artists. Is it actors? Is it musicians? Is it comedians? What exactly and how exactly is this going to be distributed? Now she's back, I hear. Thank you very much, Ambassador Amina Mohammed, for joining us here on the Friday briefing. Now let's just start by what exactly is the criteria for distributing this funds?
Well, thank you very much for having me. The criteria for distributing the funds was released today by the team at the office. And the criteria is inclusive. It just means that if you are an artist, and I will tell you exactly who that is and where they should go to. We've actually put up pages on our website for the different different categories of artists. So they would then log on, fill the application form, submit clips of works that they would like to be seen and judged, right? Because we actually have a panel of creatives who will be sitting and looking at all this information and telling us what they think about the information that's coming in, what they think about the artists, and it's this panel of creatives that includes their peers actually, who will then decide which of the artists will be funded. It doesn't have to be work that is done today. It can be work that was done before, but that is relevant. So we're hoping that we won't get clips of music that is not appropriate for the public, for instance, but something that conveys a message, a message of hope, a message of well-doing, a message of a better tomorrow, and things like that. But also, we're encouraging artists to help convey the messages, the directives, the measures that have been prescribed by the Ministry of Health. Yeah. So it's basically a really huge toolbox that we're offering, and you can go in and pick up the one that fits you best. But let me say this, that we have 5 departments that will be dealing with this. There's the Department of Culture, and that will engage visual artists. They're to develop visual works such as paintings, drawings, photography, crafts, including beadwork, of course, cartoons, printmaking, ceramics, and comedians. And the idea is any production, any product that you'd like us to see, please apply, put it up, let's look at it. If it meets the criteria that has been set in the press release that was issued today, then you're eligible. The second one is the Permanent Presidential Music Commission, which will engage musicians and dancers, right? To create and they're hoping that the messages will be messages of awareness, of sensitization, of educational messaging, and things like that, including, of course, on COVID-19, and including the messages that the Ministry of Health wants to convey to all our people. And we're hoping that since it covers the 47 counties, that we are going to have most of this messaging in vernacular, because we actually want these messages to reach the public, right? We don't want anybody left behind. The third one is the National Museums of Kenya. They will work with visual artists. And the hope is that these visual artists will produce murals and graffiti in various public spaces and public parks. Again, reinforcing messages of hope, including, of course, the messages that the Ministry of Health, again, wants us to convey to the public. The fourth one is the Kenya Cultural Center, and that includes, of course, the Kenya National Theatre. And they will work with actors, with poets, with spoken word artists, with storytellers, and hopefully they will tell our diverse stories, and including our diverse stories of COVID-19 and how communities are coping with this. Yeah. But again, as I said, I want to repeat that it doesn't have to be only COVID-related themes. It can be messages that have been composed earlier on and that relate to challenges that we face in society, how to address those challenges. We hope that most of the work, of course, will address the current challenge, because this historically is one of the biggest challenges that this country and the whole world has faced. The fifth one is the Film Commission, who will work with film producers, to create productions, again, around messages of COVID-19. These ones, of course, will be new works, because the Film Commission will work with film producers now to produce the messaging.
All right.
So those are the five.
Ambassador, allow me to cut you short. Before you continue, you talked about a panel. Tell us more about this panel. Is it made up of a number of people? Are these people from different sectors in this industry?
Absolutely, yeah. It's several people, and each the category is represented on the panel. We'll give you the information on the panel as soon as the applications start coming in. Actually, you'll get to know who sits on that panel, and what kind of work and what terms of reference they have. But it's going to cover everybody. It's inclusive. Again, it's inclusive, covers gender, and we want gender equity. We want representation in the 47 counties. We want 30% of the resources to go to vulnerable groups and people with disabilities.
So then, are there any structures put in place to ensure that the money gets to the intended recipients?
Absolutely, and it will be sent directly to them. The money will be sent directly. It will be sent through M-Pesa. We have an M-Pesa account, and as we approve, works, we will be sending out the money to the producers of these works.
Is it a flat rate considering the different sectors? I mean, there's spoken word, there's music, there's actors. Is it a flat rate, and how much exactly is the rate?
It actually depends on the complexity of the production. That's what it will depend on. But it will range anywhere from 10, 15 to 20, 25,000. So that's the range of monies that will be paid out. We want to stretch this money so that it covers the 3 months that we have spoken about.
All right. Now, let's just head to the fact that COVID-19, the pandemic, has disrupted various events in the country, not just in the entertainment industry, but also in the sports industry. Now, we were supposed to have the Continental Tour that was supposed to be in May, and also Under-20 Athletics Championships in July. What exactly is the government doing to ensure that the World Athletics still has confidence for Kenya to host these events?
I think that you saw the announcement that we made on the Continental Tour, which has now been postponed to the 26th of September. A clear indication of the confidence that the international community has in our country, in our leadership, and in the hosting of events in this country. We are actually extremely proud of that. We're very happy with the announcement. It took, we had conversations back and forth, and eventually we agreed on a date that is not, too far off the July date, the May date that we had. And so we're really pleased that there's so much confidence that people are willing to come to this country as early as in September now. And not many other countries have been that lucky. So that's one, because some of the tours have actually been cancelled, right, in other countries. So we're really, really proud that we kept ours, and that it's going to happen this year, and it's going to happen on the 26th of September. The World Under-20, we're still in talks on the World Under-20. We haven't concluded those talks. We've been having, again, the same negotiations on dates, whether we should have it in 2021, 2020, end of the year. Yesterday, actually, we came to an agreement that it would have to be 2021, but we don't have the exact dates yet. So that's as far as the World Under-20 goes. Actually, we're still trying to convince people to come to this country at the end of the year. So we'll see how that goes. But as of now, the date that we have been given is next year. On the World Safari Rally, I think that you have seen. The announcement was made today. We had told the public that we would make the announcement on the 15th of this month. Again, lengthy discussions, negotiations, and finally the agreement that we host it next year, right? I think that the comfort level that we have is good, because we were supposed to host the Safari Rally for 3 years. 2020, 2021, and 2022. Now it's been moved to 2021, so we still have our 3 years, 2021, 2022, and 2023. So we actually haven't lost much. We were ready to host it in July. The preparations were underway and really far gone. So we'll continue with our preparations to just make sure that come next year, we are completely and totally ready to host the Safari Rally. So the dates for the Safari Rally have been announced, which is next year. There will be a meeting, of course, of all the stakeholders to then decide on the dates for each of the rallies. So we'll only get to know the dates next year. Yeah. The continental tour, as I've said, 26th of September. World Under 20 is still in conversations, but likely next year. If we get our way, we'll have it this year, but that's beginning to look quite unlikely. So we're hopeful that we'll. So basically, I think the message is that everybody still wants to come to our country, that the venue has not changed. It's only the dates that have changed. And that is a huge, huge vote of confidence for our country, for our leadership, for our organizational skills, for the warmth of our people, the hospitality of our people. So we're really happy.
All right. Thank you very much, Ambassador. That's a very great place to end this conversation. Ambassador Amina Mohammed, that is the CS of the Ministry of Sports, Culture and Heritage, just giving us a criteria or description of how that 100 million shillings that was set aside to cushion artists is going to be distributed. This is the Friday briefing. Thank you very much for staying with us. We take another short break. We'll be back with some business news.